Welcome back to another one. Out here doing a little work, so I figured I'd show you guys something here. If you didn't know, we have 2 horses. We keep them at my dad's place. My wife got a horse about 2 years ago, I suppose, and we ended up buying my daughter a horse last fall, so about a year ago now. And we have been buying hay, and my dad has a BCS walk behind tractor, and we borrow it and use it to bale some mini round bales occasionally, and use some of them and sell some of them, I guess, to buy. We feed big round bales now instead of those little rounds or squares. And it's a lot of work to put up hay, or that much hay with that for 2 horses. It's not so bad if you're doing little at a time, but of course the stuff we've been doing is fairly big. So we've been talking about it for a while, and talking about upgrading and buying a tractor and square baler and stuff. Of course, it's never really worked out. We didn't have the money for it or anything, or never found anything worthwhile until now. Found a friend of mine, actually, his buddy of his had it and was talking about selling it. It's a Case Comfort King 1030. It's a diesel, 6-cylinder diesel. It's a 103 horse tractor, or 100 plus horse, a little over 100. I think it's like 103. Some people say it's like 108 or something, but so just call it a 100 horse tractor. Decent tractor. Could use a new set of rear tires and front tires probably next year. They'll last us a while. The front tires will. Back tires are okay for us. And I'll run them until they won't work anymore, probably, unless I find a decent set of tires. The seat is shot. It's completely gone. Of course, we got a little blanket up there with a hunting pad. Came with the tractor, is what he used. We'll look at replacing the seat, or getting that seat redone sometime or another. But otherwise, all in all, the tractor's actually in a pretty decent condition. We brought it home, and I cleaned it up, and it had a hydraulic leak back here on a hose, and all it was loose. I got the case drain hose that needs replaced, but it don't leak. It does okay, but I will replace it sooner than later. But it also came with a disc mower. It's an M&W HC6 disc mower. It's got the turtle shells in there with the little blades. Little blades on it. Of course, I brought this home on the back of the tractor probably about 2 weeks ago from my dad's place. That's where we took everything and unloaded it the day we brought it home. And I washed it up, cleaned it up, got all the grass, built up grass out from underneath it, kind of went through it, checking bearings and stuff. I mean, they used it. The people we bought it from they used it, and I got a video of it not too long before I actually purchased it from them, that they baled their alfalfa with. So brought it, cleaned it and greased it, kind of going through everything, checking belts and whatnot. I got to change the gearbox oil and the cutter boy oil. Finally tracked some information down on it, I believe. I'll probably make a video of that when I do it, but there's a drain plug there, or a plug there, that's where you fill it at and check it at. Not exactly sure how you're supposed to drain it, but I'm gonna take some plates off here and try to get it all drained out that way, and then level it back out and fill it back in that hole. So I'll probably make a video of that. It came with a New Holland side dress rake I got over there. It's just a side dress rake. I mean, ain't nothing spectacular about it. Loaded that up one day. I was over there unloading a round bale. But I was gonna pull it home, but when you disconnect that PTO shaft there, that tire wobbles, and I mean it is disengaged, so it ain't spinning, but I figured I'd rather not have those U-joints spinning for 16 miles down the road, so I figured it'd be easier just to disconnect it, but I didn't like it doing that, so I just loaded it on the trailer, brought it home. Always I've greased it, but it's got all new, well, not all new, mostly new tines on it, fairly new replaced. There's only a few originals on here, and you got a couple of them on there, but I mean there's 95+% that are brand new on there. So but I've greased it, and then the only other thing I did that I needed to do, no, I didn't even have to do it, I replaced the jack. It's got the swivel jack on there. It's spring loaded. Chain it up and it comes down, but it's really unstable. If you happen to bump it the wrong way, the weight will shift and it'll flip out from underneath it and hits the ground. So I had a bulldog jack laying around and a couple of the mounts. Of course, I had to shim it out some so I could get some clearance to be able to crank it up and down. And then I welded the bigger one up here so when I take that off, I'm not leaving it down here. It's going to be up here out of the way. Make sure it ain't going to hit anything. But works out pretty well like that. But otherwise, all in all, I mean, this was decent too. I mean, need some new tires. They're kind of dry rotted, but they'll get me through the year. Of course, they just have car tires on there, so find some replacements for it. But I also have this International 425 square baler that came with it. Again, they used it not very long before we brought it home, and my dad talked to me about it. He has some alfalfa behind his house, and he's gonna bale this little mini round baler, but using that, it knocks a lot of leaves off. So it turns out to be a lot of stems. So he asked me if I mowed it, raked it, if I'd bale it with this. I thought, yeah, because I want to check it out and kind of go through it, make sure, you know, kind of make sure everything's going to work. And so I went over there and baled it for him. Worked out really well. And now I'm just bringing it home, and I just brought it home last night. We're getting rain showers off and on today, so I have a piece we got to go mow. Hoping to get it all done tomorrow or by tomorrow, so I can mow. So I'll probably finish cleaning this up, and then I'll work on changing the gearbox oil and that on this, so that way it's ready, so I can use that tomorrow to go mow. But I'm just going through it. I changed the gearbox oil in it. It was less than 10 hours ago that they changed the oil and filters on that, so it's all been serviced. Instead of just checking the oil and stuff on it, but everything's good on that. So tractor's good, so I gotta get this done. But the baler, there's the only thing they haven't changed in a while, so I drained it out this morning and refilled that gearbox, and now I'm just cleaning it up, and then gonna put some lube on the chains, and then grease everything. Grease the knotters, hit all the grease ergs everywhere. Oil some chains up, but cleaning it up because the place we're going to really doesn't have a whole lot of weeds tomorrow, and of course I don't want to come in here and spread all the weed seeds from his alfalfa. Where the alfalfa was, the piece there we baled was kind of overgrown with some weeds and thistles and stuff, and a couple of those, and so I figured I don't want the weed seeds and stuff down there, and I mean I need to clean it up anyways, but I'd clean it up normally, but it's just a good practice not to spread seed from one field to the next. So I'll get all those cleaned out. Might leave the bales in there just so I have something, just to have the first bale compressed, but the first two bales that I kick out are gonna get loaded up in the truck and coming home. And get them out of there, won't let them lay on the ground or even hit the ground. So I'm pulling all the stuff out of here. There's some weed seeds and stuff in this, but so I'm pulling all that out, cleaning it up, blowing everything out. Same thing underneath here. Already blowing a lot of this out, but blowing all this stuff down here and all these nooks and crannies underneath here, where that plunger arm swings around, get all this stuff cleaned out, so that way there isn't any weed seeds there. And then I will, they said then grease everything, get it all ready to go. But it works good. Said when they told me about it, it was an idea, and talked about it a little bit. Wasn't really dead set on purchasing it or anything, and the more and more we talked about it, the price came down a little bit, and of course the price was a little bit higher originally because a friend of mine was trying to make money on it basically, and we were gonna talk about going in together with somebody else buying this, and decided I really didn't want to do that at all. If I was gonna do it, I would just do it by myself. And he found that out, and he's like, well, he's actually, the real price is this. And, okay. So, well, and he told me what he was doing. But he said, now that you're buying it by yourself, he said, I didn't really want to have you pay all that extra money for it. Have you pay all the extra money, and this way, you know, he was going to make some money, but it was only cost me a little bit extra rather than all of it up front. I mean, I guess he had the opportunity to make it because the price he was asking wasn't too bad anyways, but I ended up getting it for the true asking price, I guess, and so it worked out, I think. We'll hopefully be able to bale some here in this next week. So I've shown you the tractor, the mower, the rake, and the baler. What you have not seen yet, I'll post a picture here. I don't have it here, but there's a hay rack. It's a 6-ton hay rack. It's been completely redone. They've took all the boards off. I'm sure the boards rotted off, so they rebuilt it and put, they're actually creosote post, telephone post that they, his grandpa's got a sawmill, so our band mill, and they cut the boards out of them. And so I really won't have to worry about them rotting away or anything, and he's always sprayed used motor oil and some diesel, mixed it up in a sprayer, little hand sprayer, and sprays it down. If you didn't know, that he helps your wood from drying out and kind of helps seals it off so it won't absorb any moisture, and you want to do it over the winter, late fall, do it and spray them down. And he's always done that, but it's nice. Like I said, I'll post a picture here. So we only paid, it was eight grand that we paid for it, for all of this, and the option to buy, there was about they said roughly 125 square bales for additional $500 bucks. And if you do the math, it comes out to $4 a bale, and it's alfalfa, second cut and alfalfa. And I thought, well, for that, like, that ain't bad. That's $4 a bale. Like, you can sell and make money, or if you're buying them to feed, like, it's definitely still cheap bales. Like I said, second cut and alfalfa is worth $7-8 bucks easily around here right now. And if you wait until it's winter, you about get probably $8 bucks a bale off the second cut and alfalfa. So my wife actually started the LSC for it, for cutting hay and doing some custom baling and stuff like that. So she's got the LLC, and went and talked to the bank about borrowing the money, borrowing, you know, 8,500 bucks. We were gonna borrow 10 grand just to have overhead, help pay for twine if we needed it, you know, oil, get all the stuff, get the gearbox and stuff, everything changed, gone through any parts that need replaced if we have, you know, find anything that needs replaced, and fuel, just to get us through, you know, not having to pull out of our pockets, you know, checkings or savings. Yeah, just to be able to help out that little bit, you know, just for the unexpected cost right away, just because it is the fall. It's not a great time to get into a hay business, but, you know, be able to help do that. So we figure pay the extra off after done baling. Any of that extra money we'd pay back towards the loan. Any money we had left over, pay back towards the loan, just right back to the principal to help save that interest of not having to use that money. And then but talking to the bank, of course, banks were kind of a joke. Go talk to them. They want they'd want 20% down towards it. I was afraid that they were going to say it wasn't worth what they say it's worth or whatever, but they actually evaluated everything at minus the hay. They did not include the hay in there because we were only telling them, you know, $8 grand for it. They evaluated everything at $8,500. To get the 10 grand, they said we needed 20% down, you know, with collateral or whatever. But I mean, yeah, I went to a small town Iowa school, but 20% of 10 grand is 2,000. So I don't know where they came up with their numbers, but they were telling us we need $4,000, which would be 40% of 10,000. So I'm not sure how that worked out. And I don't have a lot of things to use as collateral. We could go do a, you know, a line of credit, home equity loan line of credit, doing that way. But of course, that'd be a time-consuming deal, and really don't want to do that because we don't plan on staying here for a long time. And we were looking at possibly moving about a year from now, moving south a little bit. My wife's got a new job down there. We have my truck here. Got my truck there we could use, but I mean, of course, it's got a lien on it currently. And got my wife's car we could use also, but lien on it also. And I just don't like didn't really want to like the idea of doubling down on them for it. I mean, our plan to get it paid off is not that big a deal. We plan on paying it off for, you know, having this paid off by spring. But you know, it just wasn't working out, so we were gonna give up. Thought, you know what, it really just ain't worth it. We don't really have the space to store it or anything either, so what do? And talking about it and looking at it, and then on the way home one night, actually from Sioux City, I thought, well, I'll call my parents. So I called them and asked them, and I mean, I don't really ask for a whole lot, I guess. I mean, I do have my horses over there, but we went over and built a fence for them, helped them out with that. You know, I built the fence so that to hold everything in. Shelter, you know, we supply the hay and stuff. My dad does go out and do chores, which he was okay with. If they leave, I go over there and do chores for them if they're gone for vacation or go visit family or friends or whatever. We go over there and do them. Of course, you know, not that they owe me anything or that I owe them anything either, but so I just call them and ask them one day, and you know, that night, and well, let me talk to your dad. And she goes, I really don't have the money, you know, they don't have that money, but possibly my dad, you know, between the two of us, you know, we might be able to. So about an hour later or so, they call me back and tell me that they can do it, and wanting to, you know, help us out. They said they could do it, how soon we want the money or whatever. And we ended up going to the bank that day and actually got the money. They pulled the money out of their savings account and loaned us the money, paying them interest like a normal loan would be. Paying, you know, told them, you know, I'd pay them the same amount of interest as I would the bank, you know, match the interest rate with them. So they were, I mean, originally, not that they were saying that was the rate, but they had said something about a lower rate, and I just told them, to be honest with you, like, the interest rate nowadays are higher because, you know, the banks, the way the banks are after the 3 banks collapsed and all that other stuff, and, you know, interest rates are high, and I'm willing to pay that, you know. So we agreed on it, we wrote everything up, and so we make the monthly payment on that right now. You know, so they were able to help us out though, and we went the very next day, actually paid the guy for it and loaded up everything. I brought it home. I brought it home in 2 trips. I actually took it to my dad's place and 2 trips and unloaded everything. But here we are, ready to start making hay. Yeah, I start making hay. The business name that she came up with, and she came up with a couple, and I really liked the one and decided that's, you know, I liked it and she was okay with that. And then a little while later, and more I thought about it, I thought, you know, this other name is actually a better term here. So we were originally going to go with Bale Babe, because my wife's business, she's the one, you know, doing this stuff and doing this. And then we decided that, you know, she's going back to school to get her master's. She's back in school, let's put it that way, to get her master's and her teaching degree. She is teaching full-time down south of here at a little smaller school down there this next year. While, you know, she's been teaching for the last 2 years and going to school, but she's down to her final master's classes, and definitely more involved with some stuff now, so she's gonna not have all this free time. And more than likely I will probably be out here doing this for her. Not that I am upset about that. I don't mind this at all, but it's definitely one of those hey honey, can you help me out, can you do this, or hey honey, I need you to do that, or so we came up, so we're just going to use the name Hey Honey. I said the more and more we thought about it, the more and more it was fitting, so that's what we went with. And here we are, the first couple of days. Hey Honey is definitely out doing the work. But I'm going to continue going through this, clean it up quick, and grease it, and work on getting this gear oil changed out so that we're ready to go hopefully tomorrow. So it's kind of stopped raining now, the weather's kind of straightened up a little bit, a few chances off and on, and hopefully be able to lay some hay down tomorrow and bale it later this week. But I figured I'd show you guys the new equipment here, or the new to us equipment, and I'll make a few more videos here as we out here making hay. I will show you how we're doing it and places we got to go bale. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.